Welcome back, Warriors. Back with another episode of Vigor Warriors 2 and the 1% Club. And welcome back. I hope everybody's on their purpose. I hope you're achieving goals, doing the things we need to do. It's a battle out there. You have to continue doing this every day and continue to kind of go through the process of becoming the best version you can be. So today, and once again, let me first thank everybody again for their comments, likes, subscriptions. It's all great things that it can help us in trying to get the information out and help people and try to be there if people need us. And I think that's one of the reasons why I do this, is try to get information out to help you guys, and both ladies and guys, to try to get information to you guys that might be able to help. So today's topic is going to be 10 traits of a Stoic man. And how can this help you on a journey? So what we're going to talk about is trying to talk about Stoicism again. Now, once again, when I go back to Stoicism, what I'm talking about really is kind of focusing on a certain type of lifestyle. And so there's like 10 different types of things that I've seen that I want to kind of talk about a little bit on why we think it's important to kind of use some of these techniques to actually kind of help you in your journey. And so why is this very close to it? Well, a lot of times Stoicism is something that can really help people. And this goes back in history. And so some of the philosophers and people that we've talked about have used a lot of these techniques, and they may not call it Stoicism, but they understand what those are. So let's kind of examine this first, and let's kind of talk about what these type of things are. So the first thing, one trait that a Stoic man has that can help us in our journey, is they focus on what they can control. So this is key. So when you're in a situation, you can focus on everything around you if you want. You can focus on distractions if you want. But you have to learn how to focus on what you can control. You can't control things that are going to happen to you tonight, tomorrow, the next day, next week. If you can't do anything about those type of things. That's part of life. Just like you couldn't help what happened in the past, that's part of life. But what you can do, and what the Stoic man does, is they try to focus on controlling only the things that they see in front of them. And how can they do that? So just focus on what you can control. It's going to allow your energy to kind of focus on your goals and try to allow you to become the best person you can become, and also trying to kind of keep you in the same direction to be able to kind of achieve that goal that you want to achieve. And so the first lesson, number one, is focus on what you can control. Number two, they avoid what we call aimless dating. Now, depending on your situation, if you're someone who is looking for someone, if you're someone who is married and maybe not looking for someone, this one may apply, it may not be applied, depends on the situation you have. But a lot of times what Stoic people do is that they avoid this aimless dating type of thing. Now, obviously, in those days, maybe they didn't call it dating. Who knows what they called it? But you're not going to just go ahead and kind of focus on, someone that's not really going to provide you some benefits. This is the key. And having one night type of stands and different things like that and losing your energy is only hurting you. This is why we say, gang, this is a lifestyle change. And this is why brahmacharya and brahmacharian types of attitudes and celibacy and sophism and being using stoicism, all these type of things kind of have the root in the idea of self-control. Your whole life changes once you do that. I think I'm on day monk mode 11 now, and I'm in 486-7 days. I gotta go back and look at it, and I never really keep track of it until I get to a mark that's like 475 or 500. But the idea is that you have to control yourself to the point where you're not just using energy on people that is not going to fulfill your purpose. So when you're dating, when you're trying to find somebody, try to find somebody who's going to help you achieve those goals. The person you're dating should be second, not first, in your whole scheme of things. They should be there because they can help you become a better person. And I think a lot of people want that type of thing, but a lot of times they put the other person first and it messes up their goals and they go off in a different direction. All right, number 3, what feels good is not always good for you. And we talked about that in a whole separate video. But what looks good doesn't always mean it's going to be good. And you have to go back and look at that. So a Stoic man knows that just because it feels good doesn't mean it should be something I do. And this takes a lot of self-control. So that's number 3. Number 4, anxiety is a choice. Now this is something that Stoic philosophers and people have known for centuries. You're choosing in your mind to be anxious. Well, people will say to me, well, what do you mean by that, right? Well, a lot of times what happens is that the fear that's out there, no matter what the fear is given to you by someone else. Something else is telling you there's a fear. Now, yes, you could get hit by a car and you might be knocked out. But that's not the fear. The fear was trying to worry about every time you cross the street, well, I'm going to get hit by a car. The worry kills you a lot more than maybe the event does. And hit by a car may not be a good example because you could be dead by, if you get hit by a car. But on the other hand, the worrying about it is what's going to hurt people to the point where they're going to get stressed and diseases and things like that. So a Stoic person says, you're choosing to be anxious. You have more control of your thoughts than you think you do. And I think that's the key when it comes to Stoicism and Brahmacharya and control we're talking about. All right, number 5 is, it is really a privilege to endure pain. Now, what do I mean by that? You may think I'm going crazy here. But the idea is that because you're going through tough situations, that means you're growing. You're pushing back on things and saying, okay, this is something that I believe strongly in. You're going to have challenges, and a lot of those times, you're not going to feel good. You're going to be in pain. When I played football, they always said no pain, no gain. And a lot of that still, in theory, is very correct. If you're not going through some tough times, you're not really succeeding, because the thing is, life becomes easy. And when things happen to you, the challenge for people is when things are not so easy. And that's why when you look at these type of things, you want to make sure that you're looking at, knowing that you're going to have challenges, obstacles, and you're going to go through some physical and mental pain, spiritual pain, sometimes, to be able to get things done. Okay. Number 6, look at statistics, look at numbers. Don't just go by opinions. That's what a Stoic man does. He looks at opinions and says, that's just opinions. That's people talking. I need to kind of find out exactly what's going on. In the world we're living in right now, a lot of stuff that's out there that's fake, and you need to kind of figure out what's really going on, and that's what a Stoic man does. All right, number 7. The Stoic person does not live a safe life, because that means your loss of freedom. We talked about this in a separate video. But a Stoic man takes chances. They stand up for what they believe in, and they're not afraid of those consequences. If you don't take risks, you kind of put yourself in your own cage. And so your cage is something that's holding you because of your ideas and how you think about things. And if you're going to just kind of go along with the crowd and you're becoming that sheep type person, you're not really going out there and kind of setting your own patterns, setting your own types of ways of doing things. I love Frank Sinatra is one of my favorite people. And he had this song called My Way. And you have to kind of go your way. Every one of us does. And going your way means sometimes you're going to find those obstacles. But the one thing that's for sure is you're out of your cage. Now that's dangerous for some people. That's why we call it warriors, right? That's dangerous for some people. They want people, I believe, certainly in this society we live in, people want you to be in a cage. They want you to think of yourself in a cage. They want you to go along with this because now you're not disputing anything. And that's how power and greed and corruption are formed, because people don't say anything. They let it go. They don't stand up for themselves. Okay? So that's number 7. Number 8, the person is calm in chaotic situations. Again, this goes back to focusing on the inner energy you have, right? The body looks at this and says, okay, I'm using my energy in a way in which I'm going to try to kind of be calm and find solutions. The Stoic Man does not panic, doesn't create that anxiety we talked about. They just said, okay, how can we solve this situation? No matter who's screaming at them, yelling at them, they're just going to go on to figure it out. And that's the key. The person who's Stoic has that control that we're talking about. And this is where self-control comes into play. You have the self-control to be able to say, okay, I'm going to control myself. I can't control the things around the situation, but I can control myself. And that allows you then to put yourself in a position where now you can kind of look at things in an objective way, look at the numbers, look at things that are important, and look to see whether or not this is solvable and how. And that's important as well. Okay. The Stoic person is also number 9, very healthy. Right. That person tends to be very strong and healthy because they understand their body is a temple, right? That it's important to kind of look at the strength of that person. So we look at people like Plato and Aristotle and all the people that have been, Marcus Aurelius, all these people, they knew that the physical energy is just as important as anything else. And so the physical body you have has to be a temple for you in many ways. And you have to kind of look at that, feeding that and those type of things to make that body strong. But obviously the energy you have keeps that running as well. And so that's why we talk about the Stoic person. Very rarely, unless they're going to have children, offspring, they're not going to exert their energy. Okay. And then the last one, realizing that nobody cares what's happening to you. Now, do people care around you? I'm sure we know they do. We know people that you're close to, they love you, they care about you. But the Stoic goes into the idea of saying that no one really cares. You have to solve your own problems, right? Now, for males, I think this is even more so than females. I think that we see too much of this in society where males are simping out, to my opinion, and being beta males and complaining about this and complaining about that. Females will have their support groups. Males, many people don't care because the stereotype obviously is that the males can handle it. Now, we know there's a lot of pain, and we'll talk about our wounded warriors in another video. But the idea is that we know we have those type of things behind us. But the Stoic man has to realize no matter what your situation is, you got to pull your boots up, take up your sword, take up that shield, and keep fighting till the end. It doesn't matter what the situation is, you always keep fighting. Never, never quit. And that's what the Stoic is. So I think I said more than 10, maybe added never quit at number 11. But there's a lot of things in here, guys, that you can use to kind of think about. So I would definitely get a chance to look at some history books, look online, look up some ideas about the Stoic person, because you'll be surprised to see that a lot of stuff that we're talking about when it comes to retention, your journey, those type of things, those have been taken from many people before us, and hopefully a lot more people after us, even though we're the 1% club right now. Maybe we'll become a 2% club, 3% club, up to a 50% club at some point later in the future. But the idea, guys, is that you want to focus on learning from history, learning from people who've been there before, who've seen what you've done, and they see what they've done, and you can learn from their experiences. So again, these are some traits of Stoic men that can help you on your journey. So until next time, battle on.